I'm joined by the champ, Kamaru Usman. Colby Covington, he won. It looks like you got an opponent, man. Is that official?
No, that is not official. Nothing's official until I sign on the line yet. So yeah, nothing's official yet. This is all merely speculations of what we want and what we don't want.
I
But
understand.
we all know.
Let me tell you where this is coming from, though. Okay, going into that fight, it was largely believed that if Colby won, it'd be you versus Colby. But there was still some talk of Masvidal that was out there. But somewhere between the three of you, it looks like we've got it narrowed down. Am I correct on that?
I would think so, but I mean, it's this is one thing that I've learned over the years is that until it's finally signed and both parties, and that's going to happen. Nothing's official yet because they've said over and time again, hey, this guy's next, and it didn't happen. That guy's next, and it didn't happen. So, I would like to think it's between those three, but I would say it's more a dark horse is Leon Edwards, who kind of just thrusted himself in the mix. So, I would give it a four-man circus right now going on.
All right, well, that's interesting. I mean, that's a nice nod that you just gave to Leon, and he does deserve that. It appeared to me, I got to go to I feel like you're being a little bit coy with me, but if it's going to be you and Colby, if it's going to be you and whoever, is November and Madison Square Garden. Has that been told to you?
I don't know. I mentioned something about it because I felt like that was the appropriate time frame for me to get back in there and healed and recover with enough time to actually train because this is the longest that I've been without training, and so I that's an appropriate time frame that I would like. But there's been talks of December as well because
Okay.
they're shuffling some things around. So I don't care when it happens as long as it happens before the year is over. That's something that I care about.
All right, excellent. And when you do look at Colby though in that performance, I mean, look, he looked pretty good. Is that a fair thing to say? He have a good night?
He did. He had a good night. Compared, he had a good night. I can't take anything away. He had a good night. It was his night.
Where do you think, when you're looking at Robbie Lawler, I would hate to call Robbie Lawler a stepping stone, and I would not say that about him. Robbie Lawler's a straight up killer in there, but it does appear if you go in and you beat Robbie, generally something good happens to you. Generally, that's kind of the guy that you have to get past. Where do you go? Where do you go with Robbie? Who would you like to see him matched up with in the future?
Robbie is. I would like to say a lot of fighters kind of go through a transitional phase. And I think Robbie's kind of caught in that transition because a lot of people are saying, oh, he's done. Robbie's not done. Robbie's still a killer. And you saw that in that first 2 minutes against Ben Askren. Robbie is still a 100% savage. And so I think he's just it's just a phase where he's still going through. I don't necessarily I don't want to say I necessarily want to see him against the top three in the division right now because as fighters, as competitors, once you kind of get into I don't want to call it a slump, but in that kind of you've lost one or two, you need to get that edge back. You need to get that fire back. So,
Sure.
I would give him someone. I think they had him ranked 11 before this fight.
That sounds
Before
right.
that, yeah. So I would say give him someone in that team to 11 where he was at, and see how he bounces back from that because I don't believe Robbie's done at all. I think he's still in the mix.
All right, now, by the way, great job. I saw you working with ESPN over the weekend. You looked fantastic. You had some fun. Did you like that role?
I did like it. I that's something that I'm passionate about. I've watched guys like Sugar Rashad Evans, guys like yourself, kind of do that time and time again, and I'm like, oh, that's a pretty cool job. I think that'd be a good transition. Once I decide to kind of start slowing down on fighting.
All right, so let's keep that analyst hat on because I want to ask you about the big boys coming up. Cormier, Stipe, 2.
Oof,
What do you think, man?
that's
What are your thoughts?
my thoughts. Honestly, my thoughts just off top. Breaking them down. I think Stipe has been hit a lot more than Daniel Cormier has been hit in his career. Daniel Cormier has something that's an equalizer in each and every fight, and that's the ability to get a hold of an ability to make you extort out energy that you necessarily are not planning to use. And I think over time, if the fight lasts longer and longer, it will favor Daniel Cormier. But I also think Daniel Cormier is a competitor that has an edge. If I've done it once, I know I can do it again. And so I would give him the edge over Stipe, but no, take nothing away from Stipe. This is a guy that has been battle tested, has defended that belt over and over again to where he knows what it is to win. I just don't think he can win against a particular opponent as DC.
And what about when you look at Whitaker coming up with Adesanya? That's a fun one.
That's a really fun one. For both guys, it's a striker's delight, because for both guys, I don't think they necessarily possess the skills to threaten each other with the takedown. They don't necessarily wrestle well. Not well that they can't do it well, but they can't. I don't think they necessarily possess those skills and that technique that you drilled time and time again, years and years, on how to penetrate in and lock up the double leg or single leg, run the pipe, get them down to the ground and control them down there. Because I think to beat a guy like Adesanya and a guy like Whitaker, you have to at some point control them rather than let them dance around, set up their strikes and land something big and get you out of there potentially. So I think it's a toss up. But obviously, if I had to pick, I'm gonna go with my countryman and a buddy of mine with Adesanya. But I take nothing away from Whitaker. I think he's been a great champion, and I think he's a problem for anybody.
I agree with that. And Whitaker is one of those guys where he really doesn't get the credit that he deserves because he's a little bit quieter. We're kind of in this more of this entertainment era. But when you go watch him fight, you
are to blame for that.
Thank you for that. But I will tell you, let's say you watched his fight with Romero. I mean, he showed such grit. He showed such toughness. Then we find out he had a broken hand in round 2. He pushed through it. I mean, that guy checks a lot of boxes aside from being boisterous.
Absolutely. He definitely does. And he's one of those guys that's kind of, I don't know if it's necessarily he hasn't fought a wrestler that can potentially get a hold of him, but he did fight Derek Brunson, and Derek Brunson was an All-American. So it's I think he's been the best for a while, and now you've got the new thing that possesses the skills as well. So this is not just talk. Israel Adesanya is not just hype. I mean, this is a guy that really can fight, and he was battle tested in his last fight. I would say top 5 greatest fights I've ever seen. There's been a lot of them, but that one, just watching them fight through both guys, I think he's battle tested, and he's really proved to everybody that he's not just, hype, that he can fight as well. So I'm torn on that fight, Chael. I'm very torn.
It's an exciting one. I'm going to be there live, by the way. I'm going to Australia.
Really?
Yeah, I'm pretty excited about that. One, to go to Australia, but I do want to see that live. I hear it's going to be in a big arena. They're going for the record crowd. There's rumors there could be 50,000 people. It's going to be special. It's going to be special. I feel privileged to get to be there, but I'm going to be there live for that.
Yeah, I wish I could, but it's time for me to crunch time to make up for the times that I've been sitting on the sidelines with this injury. So yeah, unfortunately I can't be there, but I can't wait to watch that fight, because now you mix in both New Zealand and Australia. Yep. So that thing should be a sellout.
All right, let me do this. I gotta circle back to something, and I meant to ask you at the beginning. Colby, to go back to Colby, his post-fight interview, the Matt Hughes, the train tracks, too far?
So this is the thing that I don't understand is I understand what he's doing. I understand that I get it. You're bringing something, and I appreciate it. As much as I don't like him, I appreciate what he is doing. But the problem is now you blur those lines, because if you actually watch that fight, you watch what happened at the end. Yeah, he talked all the talk about Robbie, how this and that, basically trying to sell the fight. I get that. And then after the fight, they're shaking hands. You actually watch him, and I'm decent at reading lips. You actually watch him say, "I love you, man." Basically stating that I understand, but I want you to understand that I'm just selling this fight here. That it's no hard feelings. And I get that. But then you get back on a mic and you say something as personal as that. I mean, that blurs all lines from entertainment to personal, because that is personal, because I'm pretty sure that's not something Matt Hughes would say. Hey, yeah, go ahead and use that. That's fine. Talk about that. So I think that was too far. I think he's done a few things that are too far because whoever's writing his lines, whoever's advising him on, this is the direction to play this heel. I don't think they're doing a good job of toting that line of playing the character because now it's at the point where you put that character down. You have to walk outside. There has to be security with you because now even civilians have a problem with you. So I've looked at some of the best heels in the game for a long, long time. Chael, you can walk down the street, and I mean, I'm sure Brazil probably might not be your best bet, but you can walk down the street and be just fine. And people still appreciate what you've done and understand what you've done. But I think he's kind of crossed that line.
Might have been too far. All right. Come on. I got to tell you, this was great catching up with you. You got anything else you want to get off your chest?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely I need to be in there before the year is over. I'm a guy who loves to compete. Unfortunately, I haven't been able to compete as much as I can since getting that belt, but definitely before the year is over, you guys can bet your ass you're gonna see me back in that octagon.
I cannot wait. Can we also be pretty sure it's going to be with Colby? Huh? I mean, is that something we're supposed to hold back right now? I feel like you don't want to give me this, huh? Maybe not Colby.
I mean, I haven't. Listen, I would tell you if I've signed anything because I told people when I signed the contract to fight Tyron, I told people months and months before when Tyron was still contemplating. I told people I've signed the contract. I even put up the picture, the post about it. I won't hide anything like that, but nothing's signed with Colby. And when it is, I will be sure to let you guys know.
I appreciate that. All right, buddy. Thank you. Thank you for your time. See you, Kamaru.
Thanks, Chael.
All right, guy. There's the champ, Kamaru Usman. And I must tell you, I think he's holding out on me a little bit. I mean, I think it's Colby. Isn't it supposed to be Colby? I feel like that we must be lost a little bit in the weeds there, where maybe that's been offered and there's some negotiating going. Maybe the date's not matching up. I don't know.